Medical disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes. It does not replace the medical advice of a trained doctor. Seek medical advice before beginning any treatment plan. Hey, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes Room. Yeah, my hair is sort of all combed. I just love my new Skittles candy. Is that right? Now let's take a look. My blood sugar is 6.6. And time in range is 81%. So we're going to try to do a little bit better today. But the average blood sugar is 8.2, which back in the day was the high part of being a diabetic. You were still considered normal at 8.2. Now I believe they brought it down to 7, which is all good. Today I want to take a look and discuss the perfect diabetic. Well, they may look to be the perfect diabetic. They may look to you to be the perfect diabetic. However, they're not. There's no such thing as the perfect diabetic. Every diabetic has problems with one part. They want to make sure that either they don't do all the blood testing, they try to get away with reusing supplies. It's open, and I've got to say, I personally have reused supplies until I got an infection. Now I don't. But it's just a facade. That was the one nice thing about going to diabetic. We used to call it daycare, but it's now diabetes education. Was that you knew that if everyone that went to this meeting was having issues, some type of issues. So when you went there, you could kind of let your hair down. You could be yourself. And by the end of it, there were some addresses and phone numbers changed. There's a couple I've kept in contact with. But when you look around at that table for the first time, you can say, oh yeah, I wonder why I'm there. And what they have to accomplish is kind of opening up, excuse me. Keeping your blood sugars right on the perfect map. Every day at noon, it's going to be 5.5. You're going to fail. It's not going to be the perfect solution. You want to keep things as normal as possible. That's a wonderful goal. But I think trying to be the perfect diabetic is setting yourself up for failure. Pure and simple. So I always strive for excellence. And I've mentioned this before. Your blood sugar is only as good as to your next blood sugar. And so on and so on. Sounds pretty simple, right? But you go and you see people on the internet who have type 1 diabetes, and you think, oh, how great they are. And even, I've mentioned this doctor before, Dr. Jeremy Pettis of Taking Care of Your Diabetes, or TCOYD. He's a type 1 diabetic, and so is the other. And they make no qualms about saying that, yes, their blood sugars go up and they go down, and they've had crashes, they've had high blood sugars. We're kind of playing a game here, and there's no rules to this game. You need to deal with your blood sugar at the moment. If you get a normal blood sugar reading, wonderful. You type in your carbs, you eat. But if after lunch your blood sugars go up, then maybe we need to take another look. And what needs to be correct? You need to take a correction right now. What's nice is with the closed loop system, the pump kind of goes off and does it on its own. So my blood sugars have been pretty stable, except in the morning. And again, we feel that we have to be the perfect diabetic. I know my father, I'm sure just the same as many other parents, with a teenage kid or child saying, "What have you done?" "I haven't done anything." "Then why is your blood sugars out of reach?" "Well, I may have had a chocolate bar." "Well, your legs are going to drop off." How the hell are my legs just going to drop off? But, he was being concerned. But it's hard to try to emulate what some other people are doing, because what works for them may not totally work for you. And sorry, just interrupted by the nurse. But keep your eye on your prize. Reach your goals. It doesn't mean that things can't work for you that somebody else does, but it doesn't mean, oh well, they do it and that's how it works. And I've told this story before, but it needs to be retold. Last time I was in the hospital with DKA, I had a doctor, intensive care doctor, who was very knowledgeable about medication. He came in and, "Oh, your blood sugars are going, you keep going back into DKA. We're going to put you on to shots, and then we'll control, and then you can go home on shots." And I said, "No, I can't go home on shots. I've had issues with being on shots before. But he seemed to think shots were, that's the way they can control it. And it was kind of like, well, you know, we have to control you from going into decay, which I understood. But shots was going to make things twice as bad. So I was able to get a new pump, and we tried. And luckily, I was able to go back to, or come back here to Mission and be admitted. And I never went on shots. And with my labile diabetes, I have a problem with doing shots. That really is not an option. So you need to be aware. Now, that doesn't mean, sorry, back again. I'm not gonna edit all that out because it's part of life now. And I'll get into why I'm in here. But you really need to strive for excellence with your diabetes. What I find is if people try for perfection, they end up beating themselves up. And that is no good because it's demotivating, unmotivating you. So you need to do it for you. You may see something that works or someone else doing something. Talk it over with your doctor or one of your medical professionals and see if it's something you can do. So there is no such thing as the perfect diabetic. We all screw up. We all have highs. We all have lows. So don't worry about it. Just keep doing your best. Take a look at each blood sugar. And with that, have a super day. We'll talk again soon. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.